George Pickens officially traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Dallas Cowboys. Does this mean there's a real possibility that Alan Lazard is on the move? The receiver doesn't think so, issuing a clear statement on Twitter to New York Jet fans regarding his status in New York. What does this mean for the Jets? We'll talk about that and much more, all coming up here on a Wednesday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk, joined by our good friend Matt O'Leary here in his weekly spot. Let's do it.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
What is going on, everyone? Hello and welcome back here into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. Appreciate you all tuning in here on this Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. It is completely free and it helps us grow significantly here on the show. The paid way to help us grow helps us just as much. You guys have been super generous this month. You can get into our membership raffle. Every membership gifted or $2.99 super chat will get you a raffle entry. Prize we're giving away include a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, a Kevin Mawai signed helmet, a Aaron Glenn signed trading card, a Jonathan Vilma signed photo, a Bart Scott signed photo, free item from our merch store, and a channel emoji. Every $2.99 super chat or gifted membership will get you an entry. More entries you have, higher chance you have of winning. Throw your questions for us in the chat, call into the show with the pin comment, but nevertheless joining us right now as he does every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. here on the show, Mr. Matt O'Leary, kind enough to grace us with his presence. Matt, appreciate you sparing some time for us as always. And how you doing as we enter this offseason lull?
I'm doing pretty good. Just kind of excited for this schedule release. That's the next thing on the agenda. But as you said, a little bit of a slow week this week.
You ready to break the whole schedule again, Matt?
I hope so. That's the plan. Hopefully I do it for the second year in a row, but we'll see.
A week from today, Matt, the official NFL schedule comes out from the NFL, but I'm sure you'll have it in due time. So we're really looking forward to that. You do a great job with the schedule release, letting all of us Jet fans know right away. And the past years, have you hit it perfectly?
Last year I did. I had the Miami home and away games flipped and then figured out a couple hours later that they were actually ending the season at home and not on the road. And then that last year was the first year that I was officially able to break it. So now going for 2 years in a row.
Awesome. And Matt, Alan Lazard has been the center of a lot of trade talks for the New York Jets, especially with the official departure of Aaron Rodgers this offseason. But based on his recent activity on social media, based on his recent Twitter post, it seems that Lazard doesn't want to go anywhere. What do you think Lazard's trade value is, though, Matt, if the Jets really do look to shop him? And do you think Alan Lazard is on this team come September 2025?
I think if Rodgers does end up in Pittsburgh, it makes sense for Alan Lazard to follow. We saw what Lazard looked like without Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't very pretty in 2023. Last year, a little bit better before the injury. He did have that tweet, the "I'm not leaving" tweet, of the GIF, from Wolf of Wall Street that he sent out. I don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you. What his value would be, I'm sure not a lot. Like a day 3 pick swap would be my guess, but I think it would be worth it for the Jets to move on if they can get anything for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can get a 6th or better for him, you move on. Like a 7th round, at that point, I'd maybe just want to keep him. But, I mean, when you look at his numbers overall without Aaron Rodgers, he's not a rosterable player at the NFL level. And we say that, but again, at the same time, the Jets have no options in the wide receiver room right now. So do you want to keep the veteran in the room who's a leader, or do you want to flip him for a 7th round pick swap? Like, if it's a 7th round pick swap at that point, I think you're better off just keeping him. I think a move a lot of people aren't talking about with his new reworked contract. The Jets can cut him post June 1 and still save a solid amount of money. So I think that's a route the Jets could potentially explore, and I think it's something that they will do. If I had to make a prediction right now, I think Alan Lazard is cut post June 1, and he's not a member of the 2025 New York Jets come 2025. Sticking with the wide receiver room, though, Matt, we've heard the Packers, obviously a team that highly coveted the wide receiver position throughout the NFL draft. Matthew Golden in the first round, Savion Williams in the third round, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, especially Doubs. We've seen those names kind of get floated around as potential trade targets for the Jets. Would you be open to dealing for one of those wide receivers?
I like Romeo Doubs. I think he would be a good fit for this Jets team. He's not a star wide receiver, but he's a capable outside starting level receiver. I don't think it would cost a whole lot to get him. We're talking about like a day 3 pick. And for me, I think it's worth it for a guy who's going into the last year of his rookie deal. His base salary is just over $3 million, and he's 25 years old. He's a young player. So, if you trade for him and it works out, you could extend him at, probably a low cost as he's a wide receiver 2 or 3. And then you kind of have a running mate for Garrett Wilson. I definitely think it's something the Jets should consider if he's on the table.
What do you think a move for him would entail? Well, what do you think the Jets would have to give up for a guy like Doubs?
So the issue is they don't I was going to say a 5th round pick, but the Jets don't have one because they traded back. They do have like 4 6th round picks right now. So if I can get him for one of those 6th, I think that might be optimistic though. 4th, maybe. That seems a touch on the rich side for me, but maybe they get creative and it's like a 6th this year and another, day 3 pick, 2027 or something. Who knows how this plays out, but I don't think it would break the bank to get him in via trade.
Matt, the name I'm eyeing from the Packers organization right now is Christian Watson. I think he would fit in beautifully for this team. I mean, he's 6'4", 208 pounds, is a deep receiving threat, offers a big contested catch presence, which I think is something that's important for this team. Something this team lacks is a reliable, big-bodied wide receiver target, and he's still fast. Like, he ran a 4.36 40, I think it was, at the Combine in 2022, so we know Aaron Glenn loves speed. We know Aaron Glenn loves upside. He also brings the age and upside to the table. At 25 years old, was really, really productive last year, and obviously wide receiver is still a positional need for this team. So Christian Watson from Green Bay, if the Jets can go out and make a deal for Watson, like if it's a 4, Matt, would you be open for Watson, a 4 this year, say, and a 6th in 2027?
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that's intriguing. Did he not get hurt at the end of the year?
Yes, he suffered an ACL tear in week 15. That's the concern. That's the reason he might be traded.
That's why I was hesitant. I like Watson, the player. I don't know what he's going to look like coming off the injury. And he got hurt. I believe it was the last game of the season too. Mm-hmm. So that makes me a little bit nervous of when he's going to be ready, because we saw it took Mike Williams a while and he got hurt in week 3 of the previous season. I like the player. The injury scares me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, Connor.
I understand that 1,000%. I mean, I don't think it could hurt to maybe throw like 2 day 3 picks in the mix for someone who's compiled over 1,000 yards these past 2 seasons, is a reliable red zone target. And again, certainly as the age and upside, Matt, it's not like he's 32 years old and he's Keenan Allen's age coming off an ACL tear. I mean, the guy's still 25 years old. Is it a surefire thing he's going to come back and be the same player? No, but I think there's a chance he can recover early into the season. I do believe that. Matt, another position in need for the Jets on the offensive side of the ball, despite selecting Mason Taylor, is the tight end position. We heard Dallas Goedert, his name swirling around trade talks. We heard today that Dallas Goedert is staying in Philadelphia. Do you think this potentially affects the Jets' plans for this season? Do you want to add another tight end? How do you view the overall outlook of this team's tight end room?
Yeah, I think I'm excited about Mason Taylor. I think he's going to be this team's starter. I think he's solid. He's not really flashy at one particular thing, but I think he fits what the Jets are going to be trying to do. Stone Smart is someone who interests me as a receiving option. I think they're comfortable with their tight end room as is, with Taylor kind of being the number 1, and then depending on circumstance, if they want more of the receiving tight end out there in a package, I think it'll be Stone Smart, and in a blocking role, then I think it'd be Jeremy Ruckert. So I'm okay with how the room looks right now. It would have been nice to add a veteran, but the Jets decided to add Mason Taylor in round 2, and I'm good with it.
Matt, Jeremy Ruckert scares me a little bit. Like, yeah, how much do you think his blocking could really improve this season? Because when I turned on the tape from last year, I noticed more of a technique issue. Yes, the scheme had something to do with it. Every player on this team took a hit due to the abysmal coaching staff, but I think there's still glaring technique issues with Jeremy Ruckert. Are you still holding out hope the fact that he can come in and contribute as a reliable blocker for this team?
Last year was disappointing to me. I thought the first 2 years he was much better as a blocker. If he plays to that level in year 4, then I think you can get by with it. If not, well, if it looks like it did last year, that's going to be an issue.
Yes, certainly. Jeremy Ruckert is another guy I want to go in expecting absolutely nothing from, and I think everything you get out of him is a bonus. Stone Smart, he's certainly shown flashes, but I mean, how much is he going to contribute? The overall pass catchers just remain a position group where I'm a little scared and I'm a little hesitant entering the season. The way I want to see this offense tailored, Matt, with Justin Fields, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I want a lot of RPO quick pass. Like, I want the Jets to really, really focus on the run game. I want Justin Fields to pass the ball about 22 times a game and 5 to 7 RPO, 5 to 7 of which are just RPO quick passes, and trying to get Malachi Corley or a guy like Arian Smith in space. How do you really want the Jets to kind of build a scheme around Justin Fields to the point where you're not completely building your franchise around him, but you're giving him the tools and the coaching staff he needs to prove, well, maybe I'm more than just a bridge option?
Yeah, well, the first thing for me is I don't want them to be towards the top of the league in passing attempts
Certainly.
like they were last year. That's not ideal, I think. They were also towards the bottom of the league in rushing attempts. So I want those essentially flipped. I want the Jets to be top 5 in rushing attempts. Hopefully he develops as a passer where you're comfortable, but I think that number that you said, maybe, you know, 22 to 25 times. I'm sure there'll be games where he has to throw more than that. I'm sure there'll be games where he throws like 18 times and it's just a big, run heavy day. But I would not anticipate this offense be looking anything close to what it looked like last year, where it was very pass happy. There were many games where Aaron Rodgers threw the ball, 40 plus times. That's just not going to happen on a regular basis with Justin Fields.
Matt, do you think Garrett Wilson is going to be able to eclipse 1,000 yards this season, maybe with not so much of a focus on the passing game?
I still do think he will, because he's the lead guy, and we saw DJ Moore had 1,300 yards with the Bears in 2023 with Justin Fields as his quarterback. So I think he is able to do it. He did it with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle and all these guys before Rodgers got here. So I think he can do it again.
Certainly interesting to see like what the Jets target share looks like. I think we can all predict that Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor are going to be pretty much leading the way. What do you expect a guy like Josh Reynolds' role to look like on this team? I like the cultural impact that he brings to the team. I like him as a depth option, but I always say, Matt, if you have to talk about how good of a blocker a receiver is, odds are they're not that good of a receiver.
Well, he looked pretty good 2 years ago with Detroit. Last year he had a tough season. Split with the Denver Broncos and Jacksonville Jaguars. Injuries really derailed him last year. I hope he's closer to the guy he was 2 years ago. But, as you're mentioning, I think Garrett, Mason Taylor, I'd throw Breece Hall in there also, are going to be the top 3 guys in targets in the passing game. And if Reynolds can be an okay 4th option for you, then I think it's a passable offense. It's not ideal. Obviously, you'd like a better wide receiver too. But if, he's okay as a 4th option, I think you can survive.
I think Breece Hall is going to look a lot more like 2023 Breece Hall when it comes from the receiving facet of the game, just because, a lot of Breece Hall's all-purpose yards in 2023 came from being a safety net of Zach Wilson. We didn't really see Aaron Rodgers last year incorporate the running back as a receiving threat into this team's offense. I expect Justin Fields to really get Breece Hall going on, again, some of those halfback swing plays, like a mesh rail type play, a mesh spot type play where you can get Breece Hall in space, give him the ball and an opportunity to make some plays, record some yak yards. So really, really excited to see what Breece Hall can do. Matt, we haven't spoken about UDFAs, I think, since the draft. Is there any one UDFA you're keeping your eye on as someone who could make this team's 53-man roster?
Caden Davis, the kicker. That's my guy. I look at what Greg Zerline did last year. I don't feel comfortable with him kicking for my team. Maybe Anders Carlson hangs around and ends up being the kicker, but it'd be nice if they just find a UDFA who ends up being their kicker for a decade. So that's what I'm rooting for.
I like Caden Davis. I still want this team to sign Nick Folk. Mind-boggling to me why he's unsigned. People say his age is a concern, but people forget at the same time he's led the league in field goal percentage in 2023. Matter of fact, his numbers continue to improve as he gets older. So still holding out hope for Nick Folk. The guy I'm keeping my eye on still is Brady Cook. You guys know I'm a big Brady Cook fan. Love the upside of him potentially turning into a long-term backup for this team. I think that would be a great UDFA steal. And I know Matt Miller from ESPN is really, really high on him, and the way that he can kind of fit with the Jets, and his popularity, I think, is the word that Miller used there. Speaking of ESPN and draft grades and overall grades, Matt, 30th in ESPN's power rankings for post-draft. I think that's a little rough.
I do too, especially with the teams that were right in front of them, like Cleveland and the Saints and the Panthers. I think the Jets are better than those teams. And I'm not going to come on here and be like, they deserve to be a top 15 team. No, that's obviously not where they're going to be this year, but I don't think they're a bottom 3 team in the NFL. I would be surprised if they finished the season and had a top 3 pick in the draft. I think they probably win about 8 games if things go right. And that's, closer to 20 than it is to 30.
Certainly. Based on pure talent alone, last year the Jets' issues stem from pretty much missed kicks and poor coaching. On talent, pure roster talent alone, I can't name 30 teams that are better than the New York Jets. 29 teams, that are better than the New York Jets. Do I think that, again, I completely understand the hype last year at this time. The national media was even buying into it, the Super Bowl or bust type. But, still, I understand they're coming off a 5-win season, but cut this team a little more slack, right? I cannot name 29 teams in the NFL that are overall better than the New York Jets. But hey, the national media is always gonna hate the Jets, especially when they bought into them this much last year and then come out and deliver an abysmal 5-win season. No one knows what this team's going to do. You got to hope Justin Fields is able to show some flashes. And hey, if they could provide me, Matt, a 2022 season where they were fun, and maybe you take that 7 wins from 2022 and move that up to 8 wins, and you win 8 games for the first time in a decade, which is just mind-boggling for me to think. But Matt, appreciate you sparing some time for us as always. You got any final thoughts here before we let you go?
Yeah, just looking forward to the schedule release next week and some much needed downtime in the meantime.
1000%. Have a good night, Matt. Appreciate you as always.
Thanks, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guy Matt O'Leary checking in here on the show, joins us every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. Shoot Matt a follow at Matt O'Leary NY on all social media platforms. Does a great job covering the team, and make sure to support Matt. He is the GOAT. Throw all your questions for us in the chat. You can call into the show with the pinned comment. We're going to go over to the phone lines in a little, and don't forget about our membership raffle. Every membership gifted or $2.99 super chat gets you a raffle entry. This month, the prizes we are giving away include a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, Kevin Wise signed helmet, Aaron Glenn signed trading card, Jonathan Vilma signed photo, Bart Scott signed photo, free item from our merch store, and a channel emoji. Every $2.99 super chat or gifted membership gets you a raffle entry. More entries you have, higher chance you have to win. So make sure to get in on that. Stockpile your entries. Appreciate your support. As always, let's head over to the phone lines. First up here on the show is our guy, Hep. Hep, what's going on?
How you doing, bud? Hey, you know what? I think you're going to have a little light show today. Everybody's probably watching the Knick game right now.
Yeah, we got, the viewership has been tough recently because of the Knicks obviously on tonight and the offseason lull as well.
Yeah, the lull, that of course, too. But you were praising Cook, and I was watching tape on Cook, and that kid is fast, man, and he's fearless, too. He can throw pretty good. I don't know, what's his knock on him?
The knock is overall his completion, his accuracy. That's the main concern with him, is accuracy. Mm-hmm. He was banged up a little bit last year. I just think it was a great value steal by Darren Muji. And I think he has a solid chance to, if he's able to come in, Hep, and be a Tyrod Taylor, where he's in the league for a while and he gets some starting opportunities, but pretty much a backup, like a low-end starter, a high-end backup. I'd be open to that. Another thing is his arm strength. That's his limited arm strength. That's another thing
Yeah.
the
Okay.
pundits don't like about him.
The funny thing is he's a running quarterback too. It seems like AG has a type.
Correct.
He's looking for that. Yeah, because I think those running quarterbacks made him want to pull his hair out. And he was just like, this just drives him crazy. He's like,
They're the future of the NFL.
Yeah, right. And he said, you know what? I'm going to do that to other people. I'm going to get those other people.
Definitely. Like, if you want to win in the NFL, you look at all the teams that
Yeah.
have success year in and year out. Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. All of them have running quarterbacks. You can make the playoffs with a Sam Darnold, a Jared Goff. You can't win a Super Bowl with them. You need a running quarterback to go far in the playoffs.
Definitely. Now, I didn't realize that was the quarterback that Membu blocked for, was that Cook?
Correct. 38 of his 47 starts, I think Membu was protecting him up front.
Wow, I wonder if Muji actually they were checking out Membu and they said, you know what, this kid is pretty good,
Maybe. that may be. That could certainly be a possibility. Again, I love the fact they didn't draft a quarterback, but found someone who I think was a draftable option in undrafted free agency.
I mean, who are we going to draft? We don't want to draft our third string quarterback. I mean, that's ridiculous, especially with next year coming on,
I get that.
But anyway, I think this is the year of Breece Hall. We're gonna really we're gonna see him, blow up this year. We're gonna finally see Breece Hall. We're gonna see Garrett Wilson do what he can do. And I don't know. I think this kid Smith, even the threat of him going deep is gonna loosen up the middle. You know what I'm saying? Even if he catches every other ball, but it's that, he goes 30, 40 yards down the field and oh shit, we got to cover that guy,
I like Malachi Corley, a little bit more than Smith. That's why the pick was a little puzzling. I understand, the value was a little concerned and that for me 1000%, but I just don't understand the fact that the Jets took him in round 4 when they have Malachi Corley, on their roster already. Someone who I think presents a similar skill set, but could be used a little more on those gadget type plays, on those RPO quick screens.
Well, Corley, he came in really pumped up. He really came in jacked up this year. I don't know if you saw pictures of him.
I did not see the Corley pictures.
He's really jacked up. And the thing is does he run a sub 440?
What'd you say? Sorry.
Does he run a sub 440?
Smith or Corley?
Corley. I know Smith does.
Yes, I know Smith is very, very fast. I'm trying to pull up Corley's 40-yard dash. I think it has to be 4.47. So in that range. The guy I really, really like though in undrafted free agency is Jamal Pritchett. He's a small slot guy. I think he can come in and replace Xavier Gibson's role as that punt returner. I think he averaged like 15 yards a punt return last year in South Alabama. Led the Sun Belt in receiving yards. The problem is he's never going to be a wide receiver 1 on the team because he's 5'7", 173 pounds, fully drenched in water. So
he's like my size.
Yeah, I'm bigger than him. I'm 5'9.5", so I got a couple.
So who do you think Clemens is gone?
I don't think Clemens is gone. I think Clemens is going to be on the team this year. I think
he is.
I think AG views him as a rotational pass rusher who AG, he starts committing those dumb penalties, he'll be cut after week 3. But I think AG is going to be someone to come in and say, this guy has upside. He could be a rotational edge rusher in a room that doesn't have a lot of bodies right now. I'm going to see what this guy has for the first few weeks of the season. With a poor summer and he's committing those penalties in preseason reps, I think he's gone. But if he's able to kind of stay middle of the road in the preseason, stands out in a few training camp practices, I think he'll make the roster and be on this team.
Wow. I've been talking to Justin Fields on the chat, and he's actually been responding to me. And I was talking I said, are you going to have your camp? Are you going to do like a camp and try to,
Where'd you talk to Justin Fields?
On Facebook. I friended him.
Oh my God.
He actually liked one of my things and I kept writing back.
That is hilarious.
And he goes, are you for real, man? I said, last time I checked that was for real. And he started he put a laugh out loud or whatever. And I asked him, I said, are you going to do a camp this year? Bring all the guys in and I said, you got to be like a jazz musician, man. Those jazz guys, they know what the other guys are thinking before they even do it,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping. And the offensive line, too, once they gel and they get in each other, they're going to be great. But, it's going to take time. We're baking the cake now. We're baking the championship cake. Love you, bud. See you on the rebound.
Appreciate you, Hep. Have a good night, my man.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, our friend Hep checking in here on the show. Always appreciate him sparing some time. Great call, as always. You guys want to call into the show, you can do so with the pinned comment. If not, and you want to get engaged in our conversation, just throw your questions into the chat. Let's actually get into some of your questions in the chat. Our guy Alan comes in, says Dobbs in a 6th for a 4th. Do that 1,000%. You get someone who's not even a developmental piece, someone who could come in and be your wide receiver too right away. A lot of upside, and you give up one of your 4 6th-round picks, and you get another 6th-round pick. So that'll make it 5 6th-round picks for a 4th. Sign me up for that all day. And then maybe you can compile a few of those 6th-round picks to trade back up into the 4th. I'd be open to that 1,000% for Romeo Dobbs. Alan comes back in, says, I keep hearing Alec Pierce. Why would they trade him? There is no reason why the Colts should trade Alec Pierce. I mean, this guy is young. I think he's, 25 years old, probably. 6'3", 211. Great build for a receiver. Super, super, super electrifying. I really, really like Alec Pierce. If he's on the trade block, I'm willing to give up anything. Within reason, obviously, for Alec Pierce, whether that's an early day 3 pick, maybe a 5th and a 5th and 2 6. That's something I'd certainly be open for. Alec Pierce, if he's on the trade block, I think Darren Muji needs to be in on those conversations 1,000%. So I'm open to Alec Pierce any day of the week. Again, another young guy who's going to come in and help fill a massive position of need for you. So 1,000% on board with trying to bring Alec Pierce in the building. Go get Noah Fant, veteran receiver, get you 500, 400 yards a year. Really, really like Noah Fant. Certainly be open to, again, I want a veteran tight end in this receiver room. And I think Fant brings that to the table in exchange for giving up a day 3 pick. Kep comes in, so can we get rid of Lazard already? I kind of said what I said about Lazard. I think they're going to cut him post June 1. That's my prediction. Save some money. I don't think he should be on the roster, though, because his numbers without Allen Lazard his numbers without Aaron Rodgers, prove to show he's not rosterable when Rodgers isn't his quarterback. So I 1,000% view that as a concern. And I think Allen Lazard should and will be cut post June 1. But let's go over to the phone lines. We'll take one last call before we wrap up here on the show. Our guy Devin is up here. Devin, second time in 2 days. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, brother. So the last time that I was on, right, I was like, well, I was talking to you, and the Knicks were losing.
Yes.
I think you're a Nets fan, though.
I am a Nets fan, but I've been following the series.
Right. Dude, you follow everything, dude. I'm not even surprised about that. You're like, I was just talking to my wife. I was like, I got to do all the things I did the last time, including calling you, because in the midst of calling you, the Knicks started to come back and they're losing again. So I'm doing it again. And hopefully it works this time. But if it doesn't, that's okay. But I also had a thought, though, about Alan Lazard. Nobody. I don't think there's any Jets fan that is an Alan Lazard fan. But maybe we could find some use for him. You know what I mean? Maybe we can rehab him a little bit. Maybe find some use for him. If we cut him post June 1st, I don't care. But maybe Aaron Glenn is thinking situationally, I can use him. He's not going to be the number 2, but, maybe in some certain situations. He did play pretty well in the slot a couple of times, and
yeah.
So maybe he can do something to help the team, and so he keeps him in that regard. But I will say this, though. Alan Lazard saying that he's not going anywhere means that he wants to be here, which means that he knows the Jets fans are not behind him, and he knows, but I'm sure he got that heat. I'm not on social media like that. I don't even know, but I heard they gave it to him when he was putting out that tweet that he put out today. So, you know what I mean? So maybe just maybe they can figure out something with him, because he's useful in some ways. And I don't know, but I'm not going to lose any sleep either way. But who do you think we can use if we get rid of him? Because honestly, I think he's like the number 2 receiver right now. I mean, unfortunately.
If you hope it's Malachi Corley and he comes in and plays like a 73 overall pick. But again, what we saw last year, you can't rely on Corley for any sort of production. That was the one massive concern. A name I will say who kind of has a similar build, just a speedier version of Lazard is Tyler Johnson, who the Jets picked up in free agency this offseason. Again, another problem with him, though, as minimal experience at the NFL. He's been in the league for a few years now, but doesn't play much. Like on a legit roster, he's a wide receiver 5, a wide receiver 6. So we're talking about these guys playing wide receiver too. That's why I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, but we were talking about Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson as a few guys the Jets could go out to trade for. Because you trade for one of them, give up a couple day 3 picks, come in young 25-year-old wide receiver 2. That's like a dream because wide receiver room's scaring me right now.
Yeah, but I just also want to. I don't really want to be desperate, man, because I think about it this way too. Like, supposing we do suck, right? Like, we don't get a wide receiver and we stink. We need to get 2 things, as far as I'm concerned, 2 priorities like we had the priorities being this year being a right tackle and a tight end. Next year's priorities got to be a DT and a wide receiver. I don't know the order in which we're going to take them. It's going to be dependent on how LT3 plays this year. I think that's going to be a big contingent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't really want to give up picks because I think next year we're going to go offensive heavy. And if field sucks, we're going to have a good draft pick and we're going to go. So I guess we need 3 things then, huh? Quarterback, wide receiver. Oh man. So and D tackle. But I don't know, man. I don't mind the idea of Dobbs, but I'm just not like crazy about it. You know what I mean? I feel like we're just like reaching a little bit and just like, let's see what we can do, you know?
I get that 1,000%. I will say I started some work last night on the quarterbacks for next year's draft. I was doing some film work with Chris from the Next Gen Jet show, and then we're gonna watch some more of the guys tonight. We watched I think 6 games of Garrett Nussmeier, and we watched 3 of Carson Beck. So we're almost done with Carson Beck. I will say my initial reaction is I'm not too impressed with either one of them. I know Nussmeier is getting a lot of hype. There's a chance he can be great 1,000%. Just he has 1 year of starting experience, looked very, very inexperienced last year throughout select games. Very jittery in the pocket. I think his footwork could certainly improve. Locks in on receivers. So Garrett Nussmeier, I just think the hype right away was a little improved, but he certainly has a ceiling, which we saw in certain games. And if he hits that ceiling, he's going to be a great quarterback. Just has to clean up on some key necessities. As for Carson Beck, too many turnover-worthy plays for Beck. Accuracy is a massive, massive concern. Ball placement is an issue. He can pick up chunk plays. My comp that I shared with Matt before the show started reminds me a little bit of Justin Fields if Justin Fields didn't scramble as much. Like, I think if the Jets go with the offense we expect them to roll with, a run-heavy scheme with quick RPO passes, Beck could fit that perfectly as a 2nd or 3rd round pick and kind of a developmental option. He ran a lot of RPO quick passes at Georgia, got the ball out quickly. He's able to evade pressure, so he's all right. I want to see what he looks like another year removed from that surgery because he went through a significant surgery in his shoulder last year. I want to see what he looks like at Miami another year removed. But, I mean, the 2026 draft is almost a year away. So, hey, all these names we could be talking about, who knows if they'll even be – there's a chance for all we know that Garrett Nussmeier is taken in the 5th round.
Yeah, man, dude. My wife. When I said did I tell you my wife called you the boy genius?
I didn't hear that. No.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, I gotta call in, and my wife was like, yeah. I was like, calling. I was calling who? She was like, I was like, Connor. You know, he's like the 13-year-old. You're 14, right? 13. Oh, 13. And I'm like, dude, you got more knowledge right now than me, bro. And the analysis and the breakdown. Yo, it's dude. That's why they hired you. That's why it's like, yo, we're gonna lock this guy in. I don't know what did you want? What would you want to do as adult you, Connor? What do you want to do? Because I think you can pretty much do anything you want, bro.
First off, Devin, I appreciate the support as always. It means a lot. I love talking about the Jets. Love the community we've kind of been able to build over this last year. I know you're relatively new, which is great. We love getting the new viewers involved. Started this channel back in January. Didn't expect it to take off this quick. So what I do right now, I do the show every day. Obviously, I write for JetsXFactor.com. A lot, so I really enjoy the writing side of things. Really enjoy this. I've put some thought to that, but my thing right now is I love the position I'm currently in, doing this show every day, interacting with the community, doing a lot of the college football work on these on scouting these players, writing. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's tough for me to come up with a long-term goal. Like, my dream scenario is I want to do something where I'm either beat or national, but I want to do something where I'm writing and podcasting or being on TV. Because I at heart, I'm a broadcaster. I'm a podcaster. That's what I prefer most. But I love the writing side of things as well. So my goal, like the main avenue for me right now is if I could get in doing both those things, that's like a dream scenario.
So when I'm like a super old man and you're like super famous, I'm gonna still be checking in. Be like, yo, you remember me when you were 13?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know it.
You're gonna be out there, bro. You're so driven, man. Like you see greatness when you got some greatness in you, bro. And I salute you, man, because like I don't know too many 13-year-olds. My head was nowhere near where yours is right now, bro. Like you are. Props to you, man. And I mean that with all sincerity. And I hear you where you're at. And it's awesome to you're grounded to where your feet are. And what I mean by that is that you're in the moment right now and you're doing what you love and you're focused on that and you're putting your energy into that. And that's amazing, bro. So, man, keep doing your thing, bro. I'm going to be out here just checking, don't let the Knicks win tonight because you better do a show every time the Knicks are on. If the Knicks come back and win tonight, bro.
It's every night at 8 p.m. So we got to.
All right, brother. I'm going to be checking in, man. Appreciate you, Connor.
Devin, have a good night, my man. Appreciate you.
You too, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Devin. Great caller. Appreciate the kind words as always. All you guys, you were the best. We appreciate all the kind words from Devin, from everyone else. Your support really goes a long way here on the show. Helps us, and even the people who are out here to kind of just, give some advice. That also helps us a ton. And, haters, all right, I salute you guys as well. Love everyone. Love every Jet fan around here. That's the mantra here at NY Flight Jets talking next gen Jets. Love the content. We appreciate it. You don't enjoy the content, that's all right. The show isn't for everyone. But the kind words and all your support, whether it's through the questions, the call-ins, sharing kind words, super chats, memberships, it really goes a long way here at the show as we really try to, build this thing out and get on here every single day, talk about this team, whether it is the day that free agency is occurring, whether it's a pregame or postgame show, or whether it's a show in May on May 7th where there's not much to talk about. This is the home where if you guys want to just come, chill, relax, football talk, get your thoughts out here, engage 100% football talk, this is the show for you. We love bringing in the new people. You guys smashing that like button and hitting subscribe is what brings the new people in. Always love the OGs. Always love the new people. It's an open community. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to all the mods in the chat. Caden, Jimmy Jets. You guys are the best. Wild Wave, Chris J, BC, all you guys. Ones who are in here every single show goes a long way. I see all you guys in the chat. A lot of you I see in this chat every single show, which really means a lot. Could you guys be doing other things on Wednesday, May 7th, 2025, when there's not much to talk about this Jets team? 100%. But you guys choose to come in here and hang out with us, it's always fun chatting with you guys. It's always fun chopping it up with you guys, and love when you guys enjoy the content, and love when you guys have advice that helps us grow the show. For example, Rover put a comment on the video last night with a great idea. Rover Bet put a comment on our stream last night and said, could you get a UCF, jeez, I can't speak, player on to talk about Leander Weigan, the German player the Jets signed on undrafted free agency. Saw that comment, great idea, DM 6 UCF players right before the show started. The advice really, really goes a long way in kind of helping us take that next step and really grow this platform is what I'm going to call it. We're here on YouTube right now. Same goes for Next Gen Jets, but we're really, really trying to grow. And that's our biggest thing. And you guys smashing that like button and hitting subscribe, which is completely free of charge, helps us accomplish that goal. Because for example, we had, I think, 40-something people, 46 or something like that, live viewers at a point on the Saturday show with Chris and I. And guess what? I think 40 of you hit the like. That video got over 500 views. When you guys start hitting the like button and hitting subscribe, YouTube starts bringing this show to other Jet fans. And that is a huge, huge part of our growth. And it really, really means a lot here in the program. A few quick notes here before we back off from a programming standpoint. Tomorrow, 8 p.m., because we're here every single night at 8 p.m. Don't have a guest yet, but I'll try to lock someone in. Friday, same situation. Saturday is the interesting day. Chris and I normally do the show at 9:30. Jack and Chris are coming to my house. They're going to be sitting right here. They are coming to my house, and we are going to the Mets game on Saturday night. So us three are going to the Mets game. So we're not going to be able to do the 9:30 show. At 3:30, 3:15 in that range, Jack, Chris, and I are planning to do a live show all together right here. That is the plan for Saturday content, and then Sunday, the 7 p.m. show again with all three of us. So glad to see you guys really enjoy the Next Gen Jets content. We're really, really trying to elevate that as well. We're trying to take that to the next level. We're already in talks for some fun stuff we could do from like a paid plan standpoint with, bringing on different draft analysts and, draft guides and stuff of that nature. We're already thinking ahead. We're really, really trying to grow this, like I said, this whole platform. And you guys are a huge part of it. So, again, from the bottom of my heart, can't thank you enough. I've had this channel for what? I started end of December. First episode was on Christmas Day, by the way, which is epic. So we've had the show for about a year and a half now. Didn't expect it to take off nearly this fast. Shout out to Matt O'Leary, actually, who again, if you're just tuning in, joined us for the first 20 minutes of the show, joins us every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. Advice he gave me when I first started the channel is don't focus on view count at first. Just do your thing, stay consistent, and numbers will come. That's one of the only reasons that's one of the only reasons I got out of the first few months. I just put my head down, stayed consistent, tried cranking out videos every single day, and that's ultimately got us to the point where we are chasing 2,000 subscribers in a year and a half, which is freaking incredible. So again, salute to all you guys in the chat. You are the best. Everyone who watches after the fact too. I know there's hundreds of you who watch the show after it's concluded. So salute to you guys as well. I see all your comments. I got to start to reply those. I got to start replying to those. But yes, I do see all those. Appreciate the hell out of you guys, like I said. And fun way to wrap up this Wednesday evening show for all the Knicks fans. I'm not going to say go Knicks because I'm a Nets fan. I'm not going to say go Knicks, but hopefully your dream comes true. But I think we all know. From a realistic standpoint, I know you guys are all going to say Knicks in 5, Knicks in 6. We all know it's going to be Celtics in 5. That's my realistic prediction. I think the Celtics are going to sweep the Knicks from here on out. But nevertheless, love the basketball talk. If you guys want new content, if you guys want other sports, I know we've thrown some Mets stuff in. Again, just recommend it. And we'll make it happen. Appreciate you guys, though, as always, like I said, here on this Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off. You're on NY Flight Jets Talk. JTS, Jets. Have a great night, everyone, and peace out.